All right, today we're going to dive into a story that perfectly captures our wild, hyper-connected world. It's all about how a single, seemingly innocent photo posted by a massive K-pop star can suddenly explode into a global political firestorm. I mean, think about it. You've probably seen this happen before. A huge celebrity, someone with tens of millions of followers hanging on their every move, posts a few pictures from what looks like just another day on the job. And then, boom, out of nowhere, that simple post becomes this huge flashpoint. The comment section just completely blows up with anger and criticism, creating this digital wildfire that literally spreads across the world in minutes. So how on earth does something like that happen? Let's get into it. Okay, so to really get how this whole thing blew up, we have to go back to the very beginning. The spark that lit the fuse. And honestly, it all started with a pretty standard celebrity event. So picture this. We're at a high-profile fashion event in Seoul. J-Hope, who you know from the global phenomenon BTS, is there for a store launch for the brand Human Made. This is totally normal stuff for a star of his level, right? You show up, you support a brand, you get your picture taken. Everything seems completely routine. And you know how it goes. He does what any celebrity would do. He shares the moment with his fans. He posts a few snapshots on his personal Instagram account, which has an absolutely massive following. It's just a simple way for him to connect with them, to give them a little peek into his world. Nothing about it felt strange or out of the ordinary at all. So the photos go up, and it's J-Hope alongside two other huge names. Nigo, a total legend in the street world and the founder of Human Made, and the one and only Pharrell Williams, the world-famous musician. On the surface, it's just an incredible photo of three creative powerhouses together. But yeah, the presence of one of them is what would turn this whole thing upside down. The blowback didn't take hours. It didn't even take minutes. Almost the second those photos went live, the comments started flooding in, and they were anything but positive. It started out with direct, almost pleading comments like this one. And you'll notice it's not really an attack on J-Hope himself, is it? It's more of a warning. The fans were immediately trying to signal that him being seen with Pharrell was a huge problem. This wasn't just some casual comment, it was a demand to cut ties. Then things started getting way more pointed and way more specific. This comment actually tags Pharrell, calling him a poser who says he hates politics. What this tells us is that for these fans, this wasn't some new grievance. It was a deep-seated issue they already had with him. And here, wow. You can really feel the emotion just crank up to 11. The language gets super visceral, calling Pharrell a mosquito. It shows you this isn't about a calm, nuanced debate. It's just raw anger and frustration boiling over in a comment section. You know, sometimes it's the simplest comments that say the most. A reaction like, "Oh, brother," just screams exhaustion. It's the kind of comment that says, "Not this again," suggesting that fans are just tired of seeing what they consider to be the same mistake over and over. So what is really going on here? Why did a photo with a music icon as big as Pharrell Williams trigger this kind of intense, immediate backlash? To understand that, we've got to connect a few dots. And this is really the absolute key to the whole thing. The anger, for the most part, wasn't even aimed at J-Hope. His fans were making it very, very clear. They love him, but they have a serious problem with the person he was standing next to. It's a classic case of guilt by association playing out in the very public court of social media. Which, of course, leads us to the billion-dollar question. For a reaction to be this strong and this unified, there has to be a pretty significant reason behind it. So what exactly is the controversy that makes Pharrell so controversial to these fans? Okay, so when you dig into all the online chatter, the criticism really boils down to Pharrell's perceived stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. For a huge number of activists and fans around the world, this is an incredibly sensitive human rights issue. The main allegation that keeps coming up is that Pharrell was supposedly involved in a fundraiser that brought in over $60 million for the Israeli military. So for fans who advocate for the Palestinian cause, any association with him is seen as unacceptable. A simple photo suddenly becomes a political statement. As intense as this whole situation was, it's really important to understand that it doesn't exist in a vacuum. This incident is actually a perfect snapshot of a much bigger dilemma facing celebrities today, especially in the super engaged, super aware world of K-pop. Remember that "oh brother" comment we saw earlier? That feeling of exhaustion? Well, it comes from a very real place. This is not the first, and it probably won't be the last time this kind of scenario plays out. K-pop fans have become incredibly vigilant about the political stances not just of their favorite idols, but of basically everyone their idols interact with. In fact, J-Hope isn't even the first K-pop idol to get heat for this exact reason. Other artists who have posted photos with Pharrell have faced the exact same backlash from the exact same corners of the internet. This shows that there's a clear pattern here. For a very vocal part of the K-pop fandom, any interaction with Pharrell is a known landmine. So, when you put it all together, what does this whole episode really tell us? It shows that for a growing number of fans, that old line between entertainment and politics has pretty much been erased. There's a rising expectation for celebrities to act as political gatekeepers, to vet every single person they work with or even take a picture with. A photo is no longer just a photo. It's viewed as an endorsement, and the amount of responsibility being placed on these artists is just immense. And this leaves us all with a really tough question, doesn't it? In this age where every single photo is put under a microscope, what is the actual duty of a public figure? Are they really responsible for the political beliefs of every person they stand next to? Is it fair for fans to demand this level of constant vigilance? Or is it just an impossible standard for anyone to meet? There are no easy answers here, but this is the complicated reality of being a celebrity in the 21st century.